This is Annette Negron, and we have a special guest today. We have Laura Strombom with All About Numbers, and she is the tax expert. And so, yes, and I'm going to ask that you share with our viewers a little bit about Laura and All About Numbers. What is it exactly that you do?
We add cents to people's dollars. We do that through a whole lot of different ways. We do that through making sure that they're not paying more than their legal required taxes.
Mm-hmm.
We make sure that they are not, that they're staying within we help them with budgets. We help them with budgets for their business. We help them with budgets for their personal, keeping their numbers together. In our bookkeeping department, we help them understand what the profitability of their business is, whether it's when they get a financial statement from their bookkeeper and say, oh, okay, great, this is a nice piece of paper. Well, what does it mean?
Mm-hmm.
What are you getting out of your business?
Right.
Are your numbers in line with what you expected them to be? How are you doing compared to last year? I mean, there's just a ton of analysis that we can do with our clients to help them understand and make their either personal lives or their business lives financially better, and that their tax liability is as low as we possibly can get it.
Now, I want to know something special about you. Obviously, the enrollment agent, and I know that you have different people in your office that have different roles. You have a CPA, but you're an enrolled agent, is that correct?
Correct.
Share with us and our viewers what that is, because I think that's wonderful that other people know about.
Someone who is licensed by the Internal Revenue Service to practice or enrolled to practice before the Internal Revenue Service. How we get that designation is there's one of two ways. Either you work for the IRS for 5 years or longer, where you are in a position to administer tax law.
Okay.
We do have one person in our office, Mary, who worked for the IRS for over 17 years as a senior auditor, and she is a tremendous resource because she gets how they think. And the other way to do it is to go through a really grueling process, testing process, which
you've done.
I did the testing process.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It has a very low pass rate, and they've changed it. I did it where it was 2 days, solid, intense, 16 hours of testing, 100% of the questions on taxes. My other enrolled agent in the office, she did it when now it's a computerized thing, so you can take part 1 and then part 2 and then part 3, and it has a slightly higher pass rate, but it's all the questions are still on taxation. How this is different from a CPA is a CPA is licensed by the individual state, not the federal government. So I can practice in all 50 states without having to do any licensing, any transfer. I don't have to do anything. A CPA would have to go get licensed in a new state. Second, so we like to say that we speak tax as enrolled agents. We are the tax experts.
So you are the specialist. I mean, and now let me ask you this: as far as you say, with that certification, with that designation, would that be an appropriate word? You can actually service other clients in other states. Are you looking to do that? Because right now you're in California. For the viewers out there that may or may not know that. Are you actually going out to other states, or is that something
I have clients,
want to do?
Actually, I have no problem with that. Most of my out-of-state clients are clients who were my clients here in California, moved out of state, and continue to retain my services.
Either for retirement or whatever the reasons. Okay.
Job change. We have people. I have a client who went and opened this fabulous resort on the Big Island of Hawaii, and it's fabulous. So I've got clients in Hawaii, I've got clients in Oregon, Washington, Nevada, Texas, Oklahoma, all up and down the East Coast, Georgia, Florida.
First-time homebuyers. I'm going to go directly to that if that's okay.
Great.
Because there's that tax incentive or tax credit, however you want to say it. People should take advantage of this, don't you think? Or what's your professional?
Absolutely.
And there's a time frame on this, and we don't know if they're going to extend it or not yet. Nothing has been said. But what are your thoughts about first-time home buyers and actually
this is the most amazing thing. The law last year, when it first came into play, was a $7,500 credit that had to be paid back over 15 years. There were a lot of people in my profession, oh, you're saddling with debt, things like that. And I was looking at it and going, you know what, 0% interest rate, $7,500, even if all you do is just put the money in a CD and start pulling out just $500 a year to reimburse yourself what you had to pay in taxes, you're still better off. But But then, when it got really good for people who buy a home from January 1st, 2009 through December 1st, 2009, in that window, the credit is an $8,000 refundable credit. So if your tax liability is zero, you're going to get up to $8,000 in your pocket. It's 10% of the purchase price of the home, up to $8,000. So if you pay $80,000 or more for your home, you're getting $8,000.
Exactly.
The $8,000 comes on as a tax credit to you, money in your pocket. You can do whatever you want with it, provided the home is your primary residence for 36 months. The 36 months is really critical. It's not 3 years, because people will define 3 years as, oh, well, it was on my 09 tax return and it was on my 10 tax return, and I sold the home somewhere in early 2011, and so I had it for really, I don't know, maybe 20 months. That's crossing into 3 different calendar years, 3 different tax returns, which works for some things, but for this, it's very specific. Primary residence, 36 months.
So 36 months. The other thing is that there's a caveat in regards to the amount of income you make. So for a single person, I understand $75,000, married couple $150,000, but that doesn't mean that they wouldn't qualify for the program. It just means that it'll be adjusted.
It starts to get phased out at those rates.
Okay.
And
but it's still viable for that individual or married
absolutely,
couple.
absolutely.
Okay. People that are actually filed now, they can actually have an extension or an addendum. Is that correct?
An amendment.
Amendment.
So if you filed your 2008 tax return and then you buy a house in 2009, you can amend your 2008 tax return anytime to claim that credit retroactively and get your $8,000 in the mail. You cannot electronically file amendments. I wish the IRS would change that, but right now they can't. So we have to do it paper, we have to mail it in, and it gets processed. It takes them about 6 to 12 weeks to process, depending on volume and whether or not there's any other changes on the return. If the only thing is just claiming that credit, 6 to 8 weeks the money will be in your pocket. And if you have not yet filed your 08 taxes, they're on extension, we can then take that to either increase your refund or reduce your liability for a return.
But there's also time limits on this as well. You want to get this taken care of before...
Well, October 15th, if you have not yet filed your return, you would want to have it filed, your 08 return filed by the deadline of October 15th. But an amendment, you have up to 3 years to do. Obviously, it doesn't make sense to amend the return once filing season for 2009 has started. You would just put this in your 2009 tax return and take the credit then. But if you're buying a home this summer, escrow closes next week, tomorrow, closes in the fall, absolutely get the money as soon as possible.
And that's something that you do the amendment. So you recommend that that's something of an option as well.
Absolutely. Okay. And amendments are a little more difficult. I'm not even sure if you can do them with TurboTax Online or anything like that. Our office does prepare them, and we charge $150. We're going for this type of amendment. We're doing this amendment. We're also sitting down with you and saying, hey, you know what? You're a first-time home buyer. You're going to be itemizing on your taxes. A lot of people don't know what that means. Oh my gosh, what do I need to save? And we'll help them understand, starting with the medical, when you do or do not save that, and taxes and sales tax, and also explaining some of the other credits. Maybe you bought the new home and it needs new windows, so you're going to take your $8,000 and you're going to put new windows in the home with a few thousand of it. Well, now you can get a tax credit on that of 30% of what you spend on certain energy efficient improvements.
Correct.
Up to a $1,500 credit. So that's in that we can look at kind of structuring and strategizing to get even more back on your following return and changing your withholdings.
Some of your passions and what you like to do.
My passion is horses. I don't have children. I do. They just all have fur and walk on 4 legs. I have 9 horses. Most of them are Arabians. I have 4 Rottweiler dogs, and I have 2 cats. And I went to school to be a veterinarian. That was my major, animal science and biochemistry, and I
don't let go.
The accounting classes that I took so that I could be self-employed and know how to run my business are now what I base my life on.
I think we can, if there's anything else you want to add, I mean, you're a wonderful wealth of information, Laura, and we definitely are going to have her back because it's really, really important and prevalent information that we have to share with everyone out there. Laura, how can folks reach you, Laura? What's the best way? A call, an email, or what?
My office number, 209-955-2244.
Okay.
Any one of several different people will answer the phone. They control my world. They control my schedule. They can also schedule with my other staff. There are 6 other preparers at my office, a CPA, there's 3 enrolled agents, and then 2 California certified tax professionals. So any of the 6 of us can meet with people. We also have a customer service liaison who can kind of determine who's the best person for you to meet with. We do initial consultation appointments at no charge to just basically say, here's what we can or cannot do for you.
Right.
And again, the staff can help with that. Also, I can be emailed, Laura@allaboutnumbers.com.
All about numbers. Where
Adding cents to your dollars.
Adding cents to your dollars. Anyway, this is Annette and this is Laura, and thank you for viewing, and please pass it on if you found it informative, and make it a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Okay.